Welcome to this session of OWS Video FAQs. Today we will be discussing how to use the live viewing features in OWS. Let's log into OWS and get started. After successfully signing into OWS, you want to locate and then select Connect to the recorder you wish to view live. Once connected, you'll see the initial live viewing screen. So let's discuss how to do live viewing. First of all, let's decide what kind of a grid we want to use. Right now we have a single camera grid. Perhaps we would like to view 4 cameras. Over here on the right, we can go to Grid, and we have various grid sizes that we can choose from. Let's choose the 4 camera grid. If you touch on any of the quadrants, a blue box will go around it. That would be the camera of focus. If you wish to add a camera to one of the frames, if the blue bar is around it, all you have to do is click the camera. You can also drag and drop cameras where you would like them to be. Okay? And again, if we highlight with the blue box around and then simply say one click, it will then put that camera in there. So very straightforward. Those are our grids. You can change your grid size anytime. You can make that 9, 16, etc. So that's very easy to do. So that's the very first thing that we want to talk about, is very easy to set up your cameras and get them into a grid. We'll go back to our quad. If you wish to digitally zoom any of these images, highlight and again get that blue box around the shot you wish to do, and then use your scroll wheel on your mouse and you can zoom in. You can then pan around and look at the shot as well. Alright, you can move shots around. If I want to move this image to the next pane, I can simply slide it over and they'll switch positions. So that's very easy initial navigation of the live viewing. Right-clicking brings up other options. First of all would be on-screen display. If I choose this, suddenly we get time and date stamps, information regarding our resolution, the codecs being used, the amount of bit rate, and the amount of frames per second. So this is really nice. Now right now, one of the things that we utilize are 2 streams when we live view. So right now, this is a medium stream. Okay, it's a smaller image and it streams at a lower resolution. And you'll see it's 720 by 576. Now look what happens when I double click. First of all, I go into the full screen image. But what happens is when you go full screen is that it then calls on the full stream video from that particular camera. So now you can see we're at a very high resolution. We can zoom in and get very granular activity. All right, and again, you can see this very nicely with the OSD. So the on-screen display is really nice for that. It's also nice to know, how much bandwidth am I using and what resolution and frame rates are these cameras actually providing me right now. Double-clicking again will take me back to our quad. Another option when we right-click would be to remove an individual camera, which we can do. Also, if you hover up here on the right, you can manually click the X and remove a camera. Also, if you right-click, you can remove all cameras. So that's a very easy way to move your cameras around, get them on and off, etc. And again, to bring them back on, you can highlight a box and simply touch the camera and it'll come into it, or you can go ahead and drag them right in. Okay, so very straightforward there as well. All right, so that's our drags and drops, and that's how we move our cameras around. Now the next thing we want to talk about are the actual streams. Now I showed earlier how we were watching this camera, and when I went full screen, it jumped up in resolution. I can also force that higher stream when it's in this smaller state. If I come over to stream, I can actually force this into high. All right, and that's going to put my streams up, and you'll see now my streams are all up on these cameras. Okay, so that one's actually very, very clear now, and I can zoom in as well. All right, otherwise, we would probably go back to a medium and put it into an auto type situation where it's going to select the best stream. And you'll see we're back now to the 720 and the 576. So very straightforward, but very easy to navigate. Other things, such as if you would like to simply go full screen and just have all the video on your screen, you can do that. You press escape to jump back out of that. Another feature available when live viewing is if you have a PTZ camera. Down here at the bottom you can select PTZ controls. If the camera is PTZ capable, you can then go ahead and move that around like you normally would. You can also access PTZ from here in the right-hand side as well. One other quick thing to mention is that underneath the view settings, you can change your aspect ratios. So if you had a 4:3 aspect and you didn't want to stretch it, you could put it back to this. Okay, you could go back to your original aspect ratios, etc. But for us, it's a 16:9, and we stretch that to fill the screen very nicely. So that's just one other feature. Okay, come back down on here. You can click on cameras, and you're back to your cameras. All right, and you can go back and pull in another camera if you want to do that as well. Using this live viewing feature is a great way to manage your day-to-day operations. Take a peek from time to time, see how things are going, and then make comments. It's amazing how people react once they know they're being watched, and they can be both praised and corrected for their actions. This concludes this video FAQ. Join us again for more interesting videos from OpenEye, the cloud video platform.